Life on Earth exists in a fragile balance, a cosmic accident that transformed a barren rock into a living masterpiece. But what if we're not alone? What if we're just one brushstroke in a galactic canvas of life? The universe is keeping secrets from us, and today, we're about to uncover the most profound one of all. In the infinite darkness of space, Earth stands as an oasis of life, a blue and green miracle floating in the void. For centuries, we've gazed at our neighboring planets and seen only hostility. The scorching hellscape of Venus, the frozen deserts of Mars, the toxic storms of Jupiter. But what if every planet harbored life? Not just microbial remnants or primitive organisms, but thriving, complex ecosystems as diverse and vibrant as our own. The answer would rewrite everything we know about the universe and ourselves. And it might mean we're not the masters of our solar system after all. Mercury, a planet of extremes. Scorching at 800 degrees Fahrenheit on its sun-facing side, freezing at negative 290 degrees Fahrenheit in shadow. Conventional wisdom says life could never survive here. But conventional wisdom has been wrong before. What if life on Mercury evolved to thrive in the twilight zone, the narrow band between eternal day and eternal night? Imagine heat-resistant organisms with bodies made of silicon rather than carbon, crystalline structures that harness solar radiation and transform Mercury's metal-rich crust into biological material. These beings would perceive time differently than us. A single Mercury day lasts 2 Earth years. To them, we might appear as flickering ghosts, our movements too rapid to comprehend. And what if they've been watching us all along? Venus, our sister planet, cloaked in sulfuric acid clouds with crushing pressure and temperatures hot enough to melt lead. But 30 miles above the surface, something miraculous happens. The pressure and temperature become almost Earth-like. What if Venus isn't dead, but hiding its life in the clouds? Imagine vast colonies of balloon-like organisms filled with hydrogen, floating endlessly through the upper atmosphere, living gas bags that never touch the surface, feeding on sulfur compounds and carbon dioxide. Over billions of years, these primitive floaters could evolve into complex aerial ecosystems, flying creatures born, living, and dying without ever touching solid ground. And when we look at those mysterious dark patches that absorb ultraviolet light in Venus's clouds, the ones scientists still can't explain, maybe we're not seeing chemical anomalies, maybe we're seeing them. Mars once flowed with rivers and oceans. We've proven that. But where did all that water go? And what happened to any life it may have harbored? What if Martian life didn't die out? It went underground. Beneath the radiation-bombarded surface could exist vast networks of lava tubes and caves, protected from the harsh conditions above. In this dark realm, what if Martian life evolved into something unrecognizable to us? Beings that never developed eyes in the traditional sense, but instead perceived their world through other means: echolocation, electromagnetic sensitivity, or senses we haven't even conceived. If these subterranean Martians exist, they would have watched our rovers crawl across their world, studying these strange mechanical intruders from another planet. And they might be preparing for the day we arrive in person. Jupiter, a planet so massive it's almost a failed star, a swirling colossus of hydrogen and helium where storms rage for centuries. The Great Red Spot has been churning for over 400 years, a hurricane 3 times the size of Earth. But what if it's not just a storm? What if it's alive? In Jupiter's atmosphere, energy is abundant. Lightning strikes thousands of times per second, creating complex organic molecules. The different atmospheric layers create distinct habitats, each with its own temperature and chemical composition. What if Jupiter's clouds are home to enormous creatures, living gas structures that span hundreds of miles? Beings that feed on electrical energy, reproducing by splitting like cells, their vast neural networks forming the swirling patterns we observe from Earth? These massive entities would exist in a state between solid matter and energy, pulsing with electrical impulses that form thoughts alien to our understanding. They might even be the most intelligent beings in our solar system, watching, waiting, thinking on timescales that make human civilization seem like the blink of an eye. Saturn's beauty hides a secret. It's not just one potential habitat for life, but dozens. Its moon Enceladus shoots geysers of salt water into space, revealing a global ocean beneath its icy crust. Titan has seas of liquid methane and ethane. But what about the rings themselves? What if the particles in Saturn's rings aren't just ice and rock, but a complex ecosystem of microscopic organisms? Trillions upon trillions of ice-dwelling creatures, each adapted to survive in near vacuum, feeding on solar radiation and the organic compounds that saturate the Saturn system. These ring dwellers might form vast colonies, superorganisms that create the strange electromagnetic anomalies our probes have detected but never explained. And the moons. What if each one harbors its own unique form of life? A miniature galactic community of worlds, each evolving in isolation yet connected by material exchanged through Saturn's complex gravitational dance. We've barely begun to understand our own oceans. Saturn could have dozens of ocean worlds, each with the potential to host life more diverse than all of Earth's species combined. Uranus rotates on its side, experiencing 42-year seasons of constant darkness or light. Its atmosphere is laced with methane and ammonia, and temperatures plunge to -370 degrees Fahrenheit. Conventional wisdom says nothing could live here. But what if conventional wisdom is limited by our Earth-centric imagination? What if the intense electrical storms of Uranus are more than just atmospheric phenomena? What if they're the neural activity of a planetary consciousness? In Uranus's upper clouds, particles of water, ammonia, and methane ice might serve as microscopic habitats for extremophile organisms, creatures that harvest electricity directly, their biological processes powered by the planet's magnetic field. Together, these organisms could form a distributed intelligence spanning the entire planet. A being with no central brain but thoughts emerging from the collective activity of trillions of simple parts. If such an entity exists, how would it perceive time? A single Uranus year lasts 84 Earth years. Its thoughts might take decades to form, its reactions spanning centuries. To such a being, our brief human lives would appear as instantaneous flashes, too fast to recognize as intelligence at all. Neptune, dark and distant, a blue giant shrouded in mystery. Its atmosphere contains water, ammonia, and methane, swirling in supersonic winds that never cease. But beneath its turbulent exterior lies something even more extraordinary. An ocean not of water, but of liquid diamond. Under extreme pressure, carbon atoms arranged in a liquid lattice could form the perfect medium for quantum effects on a macroscopic scale. What if life evolved here in forms incomprehensible to us? Quantum organisms that exist in multiple states simultaneously, communicating through entanglement rather than light or sound. These beings would perceive reality fundamentally differently than we do. Past, present, and future might be experienced simultaneously. Information could transfer instantly across vast distances, unbound by the speed of light. If such creatures exist, they might already know we're talking about them right now. Yes, I know, Pluto isn't technically a planet anymore, but what if it's more alive than any world in our solar system? Frozen at -387 degrees Fahrenheit, Pluto seems utterly hostile to life. Yet its surface shows unexplained activity. Nitrogen ice that shifts and flows, methane that changes color seasonally. What if Pluto's famous heart-shaped region, Tombaugh Regio, is exactly what it appears to be? A heart. Not metaphorically, but functionally. A massive organ-like structure belonging to a planetary-scale organism. This being might be ancient beyond comprehension, its biological processes slowed to near stasis by the extreme cold, its thoughts taking millennia to form. What if Pluto is a sentinel, a living outpost at the edge of our solar system, watching for threats from interstellar space. A guardian that has protected our inner planets for billions of years from dangers we can't even imagine. And what if it's detected something coming? Something that has caused it to accelerate its ancient metabolism, creating the unexplained activity we're just beginning to notice? If every planet in our solar system harbors life, the implications are staggering. We're not alone. We've never been alone. But there's an even more profound possibility. What if these planetary biospheres aren't separate at all? What if they're connected across vast distances, communicating through means we don't yet understand? Quantum entanglement, gravitational waves, or phenomena beyond our current science. The evidence might be hidden in plain sight. Unexplained correlations between atmospheric changes on different planets, synchronized fluctuations in magnetic fields, patterns in radio emissions that appear random but contain a deeper order. What if our solar system isn't just a collection of planets, but a single living entity? A cosmic organism of unimaginable complexity. And we humans, with our polluting industries and nuclear weapons, might appear to this greater consciousness as a dangerous infection, a cancer threatening the larger whole. So what if every planet has life like Earth? It would mean we're part of something greater than ourselves, a cosmic ecosystem we're just beginning to comprehend. It would mean we're not the pinnacle of evolution, but merely one expression of it. And it would mean we have neighbors. Neighbors who might have been watching us for a very, very long time. The next time you look up at the night sky, remember this. Those distant points of light might be looking back, and they might be getting ready to make contact. But the real question isn't whether they exist. The real question is, what happens when they decide we're ready to join the conversation? And what makes you so sure that conversation hasn't already begun? If this journey through our possibly living solar system fascinated you, dive deeper with us by subscribing to What If Dimensions. Hit that subscribe button to explore parallel realities every week, and let us know in the comments. If you could communicate with life on another planet, which one would you choose? This is What If Dimensions, where every possibility becomes reality.